Chapter 21 The Terrifying Xu Family. The prince has to call him brother when he sees them. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, with a click, the door of the fitting room opened. Swish, swish, swish. One after another looked over. When they saw the figure coming out, everyone was stunned and speechless. Oh my God, he is so handsome. How can there be such a handsome man in the world? Isn't this better than those oppas? Mom. I'm in love again. Damn it, even I have to admit that he is indeed a little more handsome than me. Brother, are you sure it is a little, not a billion points? After a short calm, the whole audience suddenly exploded. Xu Liang's temperament is excellent. After putting on this suit, with the blessing of Buff, he has a little more domineering. He felt it and found that his strength had indeed improved. He saw Lin Hao at a glance. As soon as Xu Liang came out, Lu Rulan's eyes fell on Xu Liang. With a face full of love, Lin Hao was extremely heartbroken and also planned to run away. If Xu Liang slapped him again, I'm afraid he would fall apart if he didn't die. At this moment, Xu Liang's eyes fell on him. He froze, as if he was stared at by some kind of monster, and he couldn't take a step. How could it be possible? He was extremely horrified, and felt that Xu Liang was even more unfathomable, or, he hadn't shown his full strength before. How could he play this? Tap, 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 Xu Liang walked towards him step by step. The footsteps sounded, and Lin Hao felt that every step was stepping on his heart. He was sweating profusely, and in a short time, he seemed to be fished out of the water. All this happened only between the two of them, and no one else felt it. Seeing that Xu Liang was about to walk in front of him, Lin Hao used all his strength to break free from the restraints and fled in a hurry. Ding! Lin Hao is afraid of you. Villain value plus 987. Seeing his embarrassed escape, Xu Liang's mouth curled up a faint smile. I'll spare your life for the time being. That's right, if he hadn't deliberately let him go, how could Lin Hao get away? Mu Bai is now adding equipment to his research room. If Lin Hao is played to death, it will be less fun. How is it? Xu Liang asked when he came to Lu Rulan. Very good, very handsome. After saying that, Lu Rulan finally reacted and lowered his head shyly. Xu Liang was too lazy to change and planned to put it back on directly. Lu Rulan took the lead and swiped the card. Back home, the spring thunder roared, the war drum sounded wildly, and the song of wind and rain did not stop. As for being pregnant, just drive carefully. Ding. Do you want to bring Lu Rulan into the family? Let her become one of the family members. Holding the warm and soft jade in his arms, Xu Liang was about to go to bed when a prompt sounded in his mind. His mind moved, immersed in the system, and found that Lu Rulan's favorability had reached the standard at some point. Become his person. The favorability has reached the standard. The conditions are met. Of course, you can become a member of his Xu family. Xu Liang did not hesitate and chose yes. Ding. Congratulations to the host, family member +1, you have obtained medical skills, God level. Swish, the prompt sound fell, and a huge amount of information flooded into his mind. Xu Liang was already used to it and did not feel any discomfort. These memories were like branded in his mind and were quickly digested by him, all about medical knowledge. From some minor illnesses to solutions to difficult and complicated diseases, even cancer can be treated. There are countless prescriptions for treating diseases, conditioning the body, maintaining skin care, and maintaining pregnancy and beauty. Of course, the acupuncture methods used by the protagonist to show off are indispensable. What Tai magic needle, Gigu 13 needles, against the sky 8 needles, 7 stars sustaining life needle. Everything is available. It is no exaggeration to say that he is the second best doctor in the past and present, and no one dares to claim to be the first. Those protagonists can't do it either. The next morning, after leaving Lu Rulan's house, Xu Liang did not go to the company or look for other women. Instead, he returned to the Xu family compound. This has to talk about his family. His grandfather was a founding father and lived in seclusion in the South China Sea. His father was one of the 9 tripods and now works in the imperial capital. His second uncle is a business genius who founded the Xu Group and has now moved to the overseas market. His aunt is unparalleled in martial arts and is a female warrior in the army with the rank of general. His mother is responsible for the domestic market and moved the Xu Group to the imperial capital. He also has a younger sister who is studying at a university in the imperial capital. His mother's family, the Yun family, is not much weaker, and is a hidden family in the imperial capital. There are only 2 daughters in this generation, namely his mother and his aunt. His second uncle has a daughter, his cousin, who also goes to school in the imperial capital. His aunt has not married yet in order to practice martial arts, and his aunt is a workaholic and has not married either. He is the only male in the 3 generations of the Xu and Yun families. You can imagine how important he is. With his status, the prince of the imperial capital has to respectfully call him Brother Liang when he sees him. However, such a powerful family force was the stepping stone for the protagonist, and ended up with the family destroyed and the people dead. Xu Liang was speechless. In fact, if the predecessor had not been delivering food to the protagonist all the time and not taken it seriously, how could he have ended up like that? As long as he paid a little more attention, killing the protagonist would be like playing house. When he first crossed over, he was panicked. Even though he had masters protecting him, he still felt unsafe and called the old man to ask him to arrange masters to come. He didn't feel relieved until he pulled the heroine into the family and his strength soared. Then he asked those masters to go back or hide. He didn't want a group of old men in their 60s and 70s to follow him. It was because the masters were sent away that the protagonist felt that the younger brothers around him were vulnerable, but as long as Xu Liang said a word, those strong men would gather quickly. That power would make the protagonist feel what real despair is. Now that he is here, the family will not be destroyed. Those who should be afraid are the protagonists. In other words, now there is only him and the Xu family of the Magic City. His family had called him to go to the capital more than once, especially that sickly sister, who would not go to school and would go on a hunger strike if she couldn't make it, but Xu Liang refused all of them. He planned to go again after a while. After killing the protagonist, he would search for the heroines in the Magic City and then go to the capital to collect more. Now his idea has been confirmed. There is more than one protagonist, so he can't go to the capital. The Magic City is a key city where the protagonist appears. It won't be too late to go after the protagonists in the Magic City are almost collected. Chapter 22. The villain gets to do whatever he wants. The disaster of Baicaotang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xu Family Courtyard, located in the suburbs of Magic City, it covers an area of nearly 10 acres and is very large. Unlike some families that use a combination of Chinese and Western architectural features, Xu Family is a pure classical building, palaces, pavilions, flower terraces and small pavilions. Walking into it, it seems to travel through time and space. Xu Liang came to his own courtyard, and a bodyguard came in with a few bags of medicinal materials and handed them to him. Although he had the supplements he sent, he could ensure the safe birth of the baby in Lu Rulan's belly, but in order to ensure that everything is foolproof, he came back today to prepare some more formulas for restoring the fetus and nourishing the spirit. He obtained the god-level medical skills from her last night, which can be regarded as wool coming from the sheep. In addition, he also prepared a portion of poison. Except for him, even if the protagonist uses Tai Divine Needle, he can't solve the kind of poison. Give the protagonist a surprise at that time. According to the news he got, Heping Hospital is about to take action against Baicaotang. According to the plot, they will send a critically ill patient to Baicaotang to cause trouble. When Baicaotang can't save the patient, they will jump out. However, because of the existence of the protagonist, no matter what kind of patient they arrange to go, they will be cured. Instead, the reputation of Baicaotang has been raised. The protagonist also gained a wave of goodwill in front of the heroine. In the next Chinese and Western medicine exchange meeting, the protagonist made a big splash and completely made his reputation. Since the patient arranged by Heping Hospital is not good, then he will poison it again. Imagine when the patient appeared in Baicaotang and everyone was helpless, the protagonist jumped out to show off. However, he found that he couldn't cure it either. I guess the protagonist's expression must be very interesting at that time. Just because of an interesting idea, he had to poison a person. He didn't care what kind of pain that person would suffer, not to mention that the person was working for Heping Hospital, even if he was an innocent passerby. Xu Liang wouldn't care anyway. He is not a good person, let alone a saint, and he can do whatever he wants. Afternoon Baicaotang. People come and go on the street, and people come in and out from time to time. Compared with the past, Chinese medicine practitioners were suppressed and could not raise their heads. There might not be a patient for half a day. with Chen Jinjia's return and becoming the shopkeeper, Chinese medicine has gradually gained momentum. A middle-aged woman with an ordinary face, a thin body, and a haggard face came to the door of Baicaotang. Her name is Liao Ping. Because of long-term use of white powder, her body became weaker and weaker, her immunity dropped sharply, and a series of problems also appeared. The latest examination found septicemia. This is a disease with a high mortality rate. The cost of treatment is not ordinary, and she has long spent all her savings, and because she usually doesn't care, her condition has reached a very serious level. It can almost be determined that she will die. Just when she was desperate, a doctor found her. He told her that he could provide her with the best treatment without her spending a penny. The requirement was to let her do one thing. In the face of death, Liao Ping agreed without hesitation. When the doctor told her what to do, she was a little surprised. Let her go to Baicaotang and ask the doctor there to cure her. If she is not cured, she will make trouble. Isn't it easy? So she walked into Baicaotang like everyone else, took a number and lined up. It was her turn, and a white-haired old man in a tang suit felt her pulse. After a moment, the old man in the tang suit looked solemn. He rolled her eyes again and asked her to open her mouth to look at her tongue coating. The old man was very professional and quickly determined that she had septicemia. Liao Ping was very disapproving. She didn't believe in traditional Chinese medicine. Can you diagnose a disease by feeling a pulse? It's too mysterious. Now, even if the old Chinese doctor told her about her illness, she would just curl her lips. She still believed that Heping Hospital could cure her. She was ready to make trouble as planned. However, before she could open her mouth, a burning feeling surged through her body. It seemed as if the whole person was about to burn. Unable to bear the burning sensation, her eyes turned white, she foamed at the mouth, and twitched on the spot. The sudden change not only frightened the people in the hall, but also confused those who were ready to follow the arrangement. After coming to their senses, they thought it was a drama, and hurriedly began to cooperate. Oh no, call the police, Baicaotang has killed someone. I said that Chinese medicine is metaphysics. How can it cure diseases and save lives? Now someone is dead. It's terrible. I will never believe in Chinese medicine again. As several people shouted, the crowd also panicked and panicked. After a flurry of activity, the hall quieted down. Quiet. Everyone also saw that this patient became ill during the diagnosis process, and it was not a problem with our treatment. Please rest assured, I will investigate it clearly. If there is really a problem with our medication, I will be responsible to the end. Chen Jinjia, the shopkeeper, stood up. She was quite prestigious, and she controlled the situation with just a few words. However, this was not what the people with ulterior motives wanted to see, and someone spoke loudly. It sounds good. The person got into trouble here. We at Baicaotang will cure him. Before the person finished speaking, he was interrupted by Chen Jinjia. A pair of cold eyes fell on the person who spoke. She exuded an imposing aura that made it impossible to despise her. The person turned his face away and dared not say more. Shopkeeper, her illness is a little strange. At this time the old Chinese doctor came to Chen Jinjia with cold sweat on his head. He had just determined the condition, but after Liao Ping's illness broke out, he diagnosed it again, but he couldn't find out what the disease was. It's not that he couldn't find it, it's just a kind of disease that he had never seen before. It seemed that it had never appeared before. The blood in his body was boiling. It was simply unheard of. At this time, the patient had fainted. Her body was still twitching, and you could tell from her frowning brows that she was in pain even if she fainted. Seeing the shopkeeper arrive, several other old Chinese medicine practitioners stood up. They all felt the patient's pulse and shook their heads to indicate that they could not find any disease. Chen Jinjia looked solemn, and she also came closer to feel the patient's pulse. Gradually, her brows furrowed deeper and deeper. The body functions were still intact, and some injuries were also caused by taking cocaine, but the blood was very abnormal. It seemed boiling, burning. This was also the first time she encountered such a situation. It seemed those people came prepared this time. The next moment, seeing that her face was not right, some people started to make a fuss. Isn't it that Chinese medicine is not good enough? Don't you brag about how powerful Chinese medicine is? You can cure people without surgery. Chinese medicine is just a bunch of fancy tricks. If you really want to cure diseases and save lives, you have to see Western medicine. A series of unbearable voices came, and Chen Jinjia's face was ugly. She had long known that the people at Heping Hospital were targeting Baicaotang. They couldn't bear to see Baicaotang doing well and didn't want Chinese medicine to rise. She had resolved the troubles several times before. I'm afraid this time, her heart was sinking. Without knowing the cause of the disease, she had no idea how to prescribe medicine. If only she knew the Tai magic needle from her master. The Tai magic needle was magical. It could regulate the body in all directions and bring the dead back to life. Even if the cause of the disease was unknown, it could still cure people. It was a pity that she had never learned it. Just when everyone thought that Chen Jinjia couldn't cure it and Baicaotang was going to fail, a very pretentious voice sounded. Chinese medicine is not just a fancy trick. Today I will let you see the real ability of Chinese medicine. There is always love across the mountains and rivers. Can you give me a generator? Chapter 23. The protagonist was struck by lightning for showing off. He became the laughing stock of. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brush brush brush, gazes followed the sound. I saw an ordinary young man walking out with a confident smile on his face. The arrogant words just now came from his mouth. Hey, who is this? He speaks so arrogantly. And let us meet a real Chinese medicine doctor. Who does he think he is? Several veteran Chinese doctors can't even find out the cause of the disease, and shopkeeper Chen can't do anything about it. How can he be just a brat? Where did this guy come from? Do you still think our Baichao Hall is not chaotic enough? Obviously, not even the people in Baicaotang believed Lin Hao's words, not to mention everyone else, even more so, feel the disdain, ridicule, and sneer from all directions. Lin Hao disagreed. I believe that once he cures this patient, all doubts will disappear. I can't say that's all, there are still some people who believe him, that is, Chen Jinjia. Her eyes lit up as she thought of the letter her master had sent her. The letter clearly stated that Lin Hao's medical skills were not inferior to his. In other words, Lin Hao has mastered the Tai divine needle. A glimmer of hope rose in her heart. If he takes action, he will definitely be able to save people. Seeing Lin Hao continue to walk forward, someone stepped forward to drive him out. Chen Jinjia stopped him and explained the reason to everyone. What? He is shopkeeper Chen's junior brother. Is he really that powerful? His medical skills have surpassed shopkeeper Chen's master. Are you kidding? Which Chinese medicine doctor is not a senior? How old is this guy? Except for shopkeeper Chen. Haha. Is it just him? He is also a master of Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is really getting worse and worse. Shopkeeper Chen's medical skills are so great. She said that this brother's medical skills are great. I think he should be somewhat capable. Everyone was a little surprised when Chen Jinjia said that Lin Hao was her junior brother. However, many people still expressed doubts about Lin Hao's medical skills. When he walked up to him and saw the expectation in senior sister Rang's eyes, Lin Hao gave a reassuring look in return. He felt a little excited. It's not easy. The senior sister finally noticed him. After Chen Jinjia took him out of the police station, he left him alone for several days, leaving him with no sense of existence at all. That was all in the past. From now on, he will let his senior sister know his power a little bit. Everything starts from curing the patient in front of you. Lin Hao has this confidence. Take a deep breath and pick up the set of silver needles next to you. With a solemn look on his face, he raised his hand and began to inject the needle. Silver needles were inserted into the patient's major acupuncture points one by one, and soon the body was covered with needles. After achieving this step, Lin Hao did not relax, because the next step was the important step. He raised his hand and flicked the tip of a silver needle. The silver needle began to tremble regularly. When every silver needle began to vibrate, Lin Hao was already sweating profusely. This process requires the use of dark energy, and the tremor of each silver needle must be consistent, which is extremely labor-intensive. Fortunately, everything was completed smoothly. Afterwards, Lin Hao put his hands behind his back with a faint smile on his face, already prepared to receive compliments and adoration from everyone. Chen Jinjia stood aside and watched without blinking. She was excited. After several years, she finally saw the Tai divine needle again. No matter how many times I've seen it, it still feels amazing. she also tried to learn more than once, but she couldn't learn it at all. Chen Jinjia could still remain calm, but all the old Chinese medicine doctors around her lost their composure. This is actually the legendary Tai Divine Needle. Is it really the Tai Magic Needle? Legend has it that it can bring human flesh and bones to life. I was lucky enough to see it today, and I will die with no regrets. There is hope. In the past few times, the Tai Magic Needle has been released, and there are almost no diseases that cannot be cured. A few old men acted very exaggeratedly. She was crying, her pupils were constricted, and she was talking nonsense. Lin Hao moved his hands away, but the silver needle on the patient's body was still trembling. This magical scene shocked everyone present, especially seeing the performance of several veteran Chinese medicine practitioners. They couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe this young man can really cure the patient. Time passes slowly. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. The trembling silver needle slowly stopped, but the patient made no movement at all. Everyone held their breath, expecting a miracle to happen. However, another 10 minutes passed. There has never been a so-called miracle. The crowd was stunned for a moment. That's it. Chen Jinjia and others also had similar expressions. The expressions on the faces of several old Chinese medicine doctors solidified. What's going on? That they looked at Chen Jinjia with questioning eyes. They had only heard of Tai Divine Needle, a legendary acupuncture technique. I don't know what the specific process is, and I don't know how long it takes for the patient to wake up. Chen Jinjia was also a little confused. She has seen the master use the Tai Magic Needle more than once. The patients almost always wake up within 5 minutes after the silver needle stops trembling. Lin Hao's technique was consistent with that of his master. Why was there still no movement from the patient after 10 minutes? For a moment, Lin Hao's eyes gradually began to look suspicious. They were confused and suspicious, but Lin Hao was an idiot at this time, unable to maintain the pretentious posture any longer. The hands behind his back quickly came forward to check his pulse. Soon, he was shocked to discover there was no improvement at all. The blood is boiling, but the patient is still frowning, as if resisting the inhuman torture. In other words, his Tai Divine Needle is useless at all. Impossible. Lin Hao's face was full of disbelief. He didn't believe in evil, so he tried his best to exert himself once again. 20 minutes passed. That's it. Nima, you were so arrogant just now, and this is all you have. What's his skill? I think he's just a liar. He knows shit about medical skills. Fortunately, I believed he could cure people before, and I watched him seriously for half an hour. I'm an idiot, really. Ha ha ha. You really let us see what Chinese medicine is, and it only knows all the bells and whistles. The crowd immediately went crazy. A series of unpleasant voices sounded, and he almost pointed at Lin Hao's nose and cursed. Several old Chinese medicine doctors couldn't help but stepped forward to check the situation. Gradually, their expressions became frighteningly ugly, because they found that the patient had not changed at all from before. He glared at Lin Hao fiercely. Fortunately, they thought Tai Divine Needle had appeared, so they were happy in vain. Who knew this guy was so unreliable? A set of operations is as fierce as a tiger, but it turns out to be useless. It also caused them to waste so much time in vain. A small waste of time is a big problem, but a delay in treating patients is a big problem. They can also feel it, that if the troubles Baicaotang encounters this time cannot be overcome, some rising Chinese medicine practitioners may be completely suppressed again. While they were angry at Lin Hao, they couldn't help but start to have doubts. Does Tai Divine Needle really exist? Chen Jinjia's face was also very ugly. She knows the efficacy of Tai nerve. Even people who are about to die can be saved from death. The only explanation is Lin Hao is not good at academics. I don't know what kind of ecstasy soup he poured into the master, and he said that Lin Hao's medical skills were no worse than his. Forget it. If you don't have the ability, you still have to go out and show off. This time it was better, but instead of curing the person, it also ruined the reputation of the master. Chen Jinjia's impression of Lin Hao was not very good to begin with, but now it is even worse. And what about Lin Hao? At this time, he was so tired that he collapsed on the ground. His face was blank, and he completely doubted his life. Tai Shenzhen targets the whole body and can even cure cancer, not to mention other diseases. Therefore, no one, including him, suspected that someone had tampered with it, then why did it have no effect at all after using the Tai divine needle twice? Lin Hao himself wondered if he had learned to be lonely. Chapter 24 Let the bullets fly for a while. They are just chess pieces. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. Lin Hao's mentality exploded, villain value plus 888. Ding. Lin Hao doubted his life, villain value plus 999. On the other side, Xu Liang looked at a video in front of him with a faint smile on his face. The video played the scenes that happened in Baicaotang. As the initiator of everything, he certainly would not miss this interesting scene. He asked someone to poison the people sent by Heping Hospital, and then he arranged for someone to go in with a pinhole camera to wait and see. Although he had guessed such a situation, it was still quite interesting to see it with his own eyes. Soon, there was a commotion in the video. He raised his eyebrows and saw that it turned out to be a group of reporters who broke into Baicaotang. They seemed to have been prepared, and they set up long guns and short guns and started shouting. I heard that someone died in Baicaotang. Is this true? What disease did the patient have? Baicaotang can't cure it. Does it mean that Chinese medicine is not good? Manager Chen. When I interviewed you, you said that Chinese medicine is not metaphysics. Now someone died in it. How do you explain it? Point one by one, they questioned Chinese medicine. If these people were not arranged in advance, she would not believe it even if she was beaten to death. Chen Jianjia frowned and began to explain the reason for the matter. However, the patient was still lying on the side, and her explanation was so pale and powerless. At this time, another group of people came in. The people who came were doctors from Heping Hospital, and they were all arrogant. The middle-aged man who led them looked disdainful. He came to the people in Baicaotang and spoke in a sarcastic tone. I have said before that Chinese medicine is metaphysics. There is no scientific basis and it cannot be used to treat diseases at all. Now, if you can't even cure a septicemia patient, what qualifications do you have to practice medicine? That his name is Lu Neng, and he is a chief physician at Heping Hospital. Since returning from studying abroad, he has been engaged in research in the field of heart and has made great achievements. Having been baptized by foreign medicine, he looked down on Chinese medicine in his own country. Just take the pulse. Look at the eyes and tongue. Can you determine what the disease is? Can you cure difficult and complicated diseases with some medicine? What kind of international joke is this? There is something even funnier. No medicine is needed, just a few injections in the body, and the patient will get better. It's simply outrageous. His mother opened the door to outrageousness, outrageous to the extreme. He has the same idea as his foreign teachers. Western medicine is the real way to save the world, and Chinese medicine is heresy and must be eradicated. His goal is to suppress Chinese medicine so that it can't raise its head. She is not septicemia. Chen Jianjia looked at him coldly, ready to say Liao Ping's condition, which has never been seen in the history of medicine. If it is really septicemia, they have plenty of ways to treat it in Chinese medicine. Don't make excuses. Thinking that she was changing the subject, Lu Ning interrupted unceremoniously. We, Western medicine, will treat those who cannot be cured by Chinese medicine. I want to tell you that Chinese medicine is just a scam. If you really want to treat a disease, you have to see a Western doctor. After saying this, Lu Ning felt very comfortable. I'm sure that Mr. Smith will praise me for my performance, right? It has to be said that what he said was very contagious, and many people in the hall were moved. More and more people showed their approval on their faces. Some reporters even recorded what he said and praised him one by one. Lu Ning responded to them one by one. Not only did he advertise Western medicine, but he also belittled Chinese medicine again. Then Lu Ning waved his hand and asked someone to take the patient back for treatment, in order to severely hit Chinese medicine. He also said that he would publicly treat the patient and follow up on the patient's condition. As a group of people left, the people who originally came to see the doctor also left one after another. After this incident, they also doubted Chinese medicine. The people in Baicaotang were full of resentment, but they were helpless. Several old Chinese medicine practitioners shook their heads and sighed. I'm afraid that after this storm, Chinese medicine will decline again. Chen Jianjia bit her lips tightly, and a trace of despair surged in her heart. She has been determined to lead the rise of Chinese medicine since she was a child. and she has been working hard for this. When she was a child, when other children were playing, she was reading Chinese medicine books. Afterwards, she worshipped a medical master as her teacher, thinking that she had learned a lot and was able to carry forward Chinese medicine. Unexpectedly, troubles came one after another. In the past, she could grit her teeth to solve difficulties, but this time, she felt powerless. Seeing the change in her face, Lin Hao opened his mouth to say something, but he couldn't say anything. At first, everyone was not optimistic about him, and Chen Jianjia was the only one who believed in him, but he failed her trust and disappointed her. Lin Hao began to hate his own incompetence. Ding, Lin Hao has self-doubt, villain value plus 1000. On the other side, Xu Liang watched the video and took in everyone's expressions. A smile of control appeared on his face. Not enough. Let the storm come even harder. He looked at one of his men. Let's start. Soon, the news about what happened at Baicaotang spread on the internet and quickly became a hot search. A topic about Chinese medicine and Western medicine was debated. Chinese medicine is a scam. If you really want to see a doctor, you have to see a Western doctor. Is Chinese medicine metaphysics? Western medicine is orthodox, and Chinese medicine is heresy. The topic quickly dominated the top 10 hot search lists. A Rolls-Royce was driving on the street. I in the car, Xu Liang was browsing his phone, and he was quite satisfied with his masterpiece. In fact, it was not all arranged by him. Heping Hospital was also operating this matter in order to suppress Chinese medicine. He just fueled the incident. I guess Chen Jianjia is getting anxious. Then let the bullets fly for a while. Xu Liang guessed correctly. Baicaotang was not only anxious, but almost crazy. Boss, this is bad. A man came to Chen Jianjia in a panic and told her the hot search he saw. Chen Jianjia's face gradually turned pale. She didn't expect Heping Hospital to be so cruel. This is the rhythm of forcing Baicaotang to death. In fact, Heping Hospital was also quite confused. Such a powerful navy, can they do it with hundreds of thousands? Of course, they are happy to see all this happen, and they are ready to watch Baicaotang close down with a smile. Little did they know that in the eyes of the mastermind behind the scenes, they were just a pawn. Chapter 25 Xu Liang feeds the female CEO. The protagonist becomes a laughing stock on the internet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Xu Liang came to Lu Rulan's house, Lu Rulan had already prepared a sumptuous meal and was waiting for him. After eating together, Xu Liang took out several packets of Chinese medicine for pregnancy and spirit and explained its efficacy. Lu Rulan took it with emotion and asked the nanny to make it immediately. In the past, she would never dare to drink the medicine given by Xu Liang. Who knows what reaction she will have after drinking it? However, after Xu Liang's care for her in the past few days, she has slowly let down her guard. Her good impression is also constantly improving. After last night, Xu Liang has been imprinted in his heart and completely fallen. 2 hours later, Xu Liang and Lu Rulan came back from a walk outside. The nanny brought the boiled medicine over. Lu Rulan was about to take it, but Xu Liang was one step faster and looked at her with a smile. I'll feed you. That the gentle words made Lu Rulan's heart melt. Come. President Lu, it's time to drink the medicine. After the medicine cooled down slightly, Xu Liang scooped a spoonful with a spoon. This is Xu Liang's bad taste. When he handed the spoon over, Lu Rulan leaned over and had the pleasure of feeding Lu Rulan. She was a little confused, and always felt something was wrong. She opened her mouth blankly and drank the medicine. After drinking a bowl of medicine, Lu Rulan felt a stream of warm current flowing through her limbs. Her eyes lit up, and she had never felt so refreshed. For a moment, she looked at Xu Liang with a look of emotion. The effect of this medicine is extraordinary, and it is good for her and the baby in her belly. Xu Liang must have spent a lot of effort to find this medicine. Right? Lu Rulan thought to herself. At the same time, she also decided to repay him well. When she thought of this, her pretty face gradually turned red. Next, it was time for Xu Liang to enjoy Lu Rulan's repayment. The time came to 9 o'clock in the evening. The influence of the hot search gradually spread. After the internet bombardment, Baicaotang has become completely famous. Baicaotang, which seems a bit deserted on weekdays, is now surrounded by people outside. Is this Baicaotang? I have been in Shanghai for so many years, and I only know there is such a place today. Why is the door closed? I still want to see the beautiful shopkeeper inside. Chen Jinjia, what a poetic name. So you are greedy for her body, you are cheap. I am different, I came to see the funny guy named Lin Hao. It really made me laugh to death. He was as fierce as a tiger, but it didn't work at all. I still like to see his rebellious appearance before. The crowd was noisy, they all came here because of its reputation. Some were prepared to see the jokes of Baicaotang, some were to see the peerless beauties, and some were just to join in the fun. Inside Baicaotang after seeing that the situation was not right, Chen Jinjia asked someone to close the door. They watched the scene outside through the surveillance, silent, and the atmosphere seemed a bit depressing. Lin Hao was among them. Ever since he disappointed Chen Jinjia, he has been very self-blaming. At this time, his face was extremely gloomy. Not long ago, he saw a video, clicked in and saw the comments inside, and his mentality collapsed directly. Everyone in the comments commented that he was a funny guy, and everyone treated him as a joke. He was also a popular person. Lin Hao wanted to cry but had no tears. He wanted to be famous, but not in this way. Everyone present knew that this incident was inseparable from Heping Hospital, and it was to suppress them. This was a thorough conspiracy, and they had no choice. I'll go and settle accounts with them. Finally, Lin Hao's suppressed anger broke out. He planned to teach the people from the Heping Hospital a lesson. As soon as he turned around, Chen Jinjia stopped him. Come back. What are you going to do? Go to Heping Hospital to settle accounts? Don't you think we are not chaotic enough? That she was completely disappointed with this junior brother. They only know how to fight and kill, and have no brains at all. Noticing her disappointed expression, Lin Hao trembled, and he could only endure it no matter how unwilling he was in his heart. Boss, what should we do next? Someone asked worriedly. In this situation, they dare not even open the door of Baicaotang, let alone receive patients. Chen Jinjia pursed her lips and uttered a word. Wait. Everyone was a little confused. A few old Chinese medicine practitioners had a thought and understood what Chen Jinjia meant. That's right, wait. Didn't Heping Hospital take the patient back? When the news that they couldn't cure the patient came out, attention would be diverted, and the turmoil in Baicaotang would be much smaller. They had no doubt whether Heping Hospital could cure people. That was a disease they had never seen in medical history. They didn't even know the cause of the disease, let alone the treatment. In fact, it was almost the same as Chen Jinjia thought. Heping Hospital, emergency room. A group of doctors in white coats were busy. Lu Neng was among them. He was holding a patient's examination report in his hand, with a blank look in his eyes. What disease is this? The blood in his body was boiling, and it was the first time he had seen it. Since the patient was taken back, a large group of doctors had examined her. When the first test results came out, they were dumbfounded. It was not sepsis at all, but a disease they had never seen before. At first they thought the patient was poisoned. After repeated examinations, no toxins were found in the patient's body. Some doctors speculated that sepsis had mutated, and this speculation was agreed by most doctors. After all, this patient had inhaled a lot of white powder, and his body had accumulated a lot of minor problems. It was not surprising that it broke out completely and mutated at a certain moment. This is a new disease born in the human body, which has a high research value, but they can't study it anymore. For this disease, they have no way to do anything, and they can't even relieve it, and the patient's body functions are fading, and it won't be long before he will die of body function failure. This is exactly what Lu Neng is worried about. In order to suppress traditional Chinese medicine, he let the media publicly report the patient's condition. According to the attention paid to this matter by the society, if the patient dies here, not only will Baicaotang not be suppressed, but the reputation of Heping Hospital will also be affected. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. If they can't cure him, just send him back. Anyway, the patient was in Baicaotang, and the reason why he was not cured was that Baicaotang delayed the treatment, so they can't be blamed. If the patient dies in Baicaotang, they will have to close the door. Let's do it. Seemingly thinking that this method is good, Lu Ning made the decision, but before that, they still plan to give it a try. What if they cure the patient? This is a disease that has never appeared in medical history. If they cure the patient, they will definitely become famous. On the other side, after receiving the news from Heping Hospital, Xu Liang no longer cares about it, just know that everything is going according to the trajectory he arranged. Chapter 26, One sentence destroyed the Mu family. Xu Liang's other women. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lu Rulan woke up the next day. After some exercise, she had completely absorbed the medicine. Now she feels relaxed all over, and the fatigue of working late at night has disappeared. After staring at Xu Liang on the pillow for a long time, she got up to prepare breakfast. During the day, Xu Liang did not accompany Lu Rulan, but went to find his other women. Because of Lu Rulan's pregnancy, he had suspended his pursuit of other female protagonists and had no time to accompany other women. Now, Lu Rulan has completely surrendered, and he will continue his unfinished business. Before that, he decided to comfort other women first. Xu Liang came to Modu Airlines, the manager with a voluptuous figure, a beautiful face, and a height of 1.78 meters received him. This is one of Xu Liang's family members. Li Xiaoming was a newly graduated flight attendant. I don't know if it was her luck or misfortune, but she met Xu Liang at her first job. Then he fell under Xu Liang's offensive. After taking it, how could he let his woman become a stewardess? She was directly placed at the top of her company. Li Xiaoming feels that she is lucky. Now she is free from work all day and can just give orders to her subordinates. Even the company boss was polite to her, for fear of accidentally offending her. A few days later, Xu Liang appeared again. What she had learned finally came in handy, and she tried her best to please him. It's a pity she is still too young and knows nothing about Xu Liang's power. Not to mention her alone, even dozens of others would not be enough for him to fight. During lunch, Xu Liang received news from Baicaotang and Heping Hospital. Both sides could hardly hold on any longer. Baicaotang could not resist the pressure of public opinion, and the patients in Heping Hospital were getting worse and worse. Because they had not announced the patient's condition for a long time, the public opinion that was originally one-sided towards Baicaotang turned to their side again. After reading the news, Xu Liang forked it. It's not time for him to take action yet. Suddenly, another message was sent. Click to view it. It was sent by Peng Ming, the best friend of the other protagonist Mu Bai. Xu Liang not only asked him to finally present the new battery technology, but also monitored Mu Bai's every move. Has the equipment been installed? If you don't work hard to develop the technology, you still have time to hang out. It seems, we still have to get to this point. Xu Liang raised his eyebrows. After seeing the news that the equipment was installed, Mu Bai did not start research immediately, but prepared to take over the Mu family's industry. How does this work? Isn't this not doing our job properly? Immediately, Xu Liang made a call and gave the order. 2 days have passed, and almost all the information about the Mu family has been investigated. I was ready to let him go bankrupt at any time, just waiting for Xu Liang's order. As his orders were issued, a business storm swept through the magic city. Mu family. Mu Feng, the helmsman, is explaining something to his son Mu Bai. The son figured out that he would return home and inherit the family business. He also planned to abdicate and began to gradually delegate power. Dad, don't worry, I will definitely take the Mu family to new heights. Mu Bai's eyes were firm. He did not forget Xu Liang's ridicule to him. He vowed to take revenge and regain his beloved goddess. Mu Feng was very pleased to see his son full of fighting spirit. Jingle bells. Jingle bells. Jingle bells. A cell phone rang, interrupting what he was about to say. The call is connected. An anxious voice came from the other side. Chairman, it's bad. The industrial and commercial, taxation, security and other departments suddenly came to investigate our company. What did you say? Mu Feng's face changed wildly, and he stood up suddenly, his voice trembling. Companies like them are more or less borderline and cannot withstand investigation at all. The Mushy Group has a market value of tens of billions, and since he knows how to be a good person and manage everything, under normal circumstances, he will not be investigated. In a situation like this, where multiple departments appear at the same time, someone must be targeting. Don't panic yet, cooperate with the work, I will be here right away. After hanging up the phone, Mu Feng quickly prepared to go to the company. Blessings never come alone, and misfortunes never come alone. The call was picked up again. This time it was one of his partners who had just negotiated a big project not long ago. The cooperation between us is cancelled, please don't contact us again. Hey, hey. The other party said something and then hung up. Mu Feng's face was full of doubts. Soon the phone rang again. Next, the phone rang one after another, and almost all of them wanted to break up with him. Mu Feng's heart continued to sink and his face turned pale and bloodless. If it weren't for the endurance he'd developed over the years, he would have collapsed long ago. What is going on? Who is targeting the Mu family? Jingle bells. This time the caller was from a close friend of his. The two have known each other since childhood, and they have known each other since they were wearing crotchless pants. Not surprisingly, they also called to sever ties with him. Brotherly, for the sake of our friendship, can you tell me who my Mu family has offended to kill me? He gritted his teeth, his tone full of reluctance and pleading. The other party was silent for a while, then said. Su. He only uttered one word, but it seemed to weigh 1,000 pounds, making Mu Feng breathless. The other party hung up the phone. Mu Feng ignored it, and murmured. It's over. The Mu family is over. Seeing his father's appearance, Mu Bai felt a strong sense of uneasiness in his heart. Finally, he couldn't help asking. Dad, what's wrong? Did something happen to the group? The entire business circle in the Magic City was shaken. First, one company after another announced that they would sever ties with the Mu group and terminate cooperation. Then the relevant departments found a series of problems such as tax evasion, unqualified products, unsafe hygiene, etc. Some of them were true, and no one questioned them even if they were false, because it was the Xu family and Xu Liang who made the move. The Mu group was sealed up and its funds were frozen under various names. The Mu group, which was once in its heyday, was in turmoil and about to go bankrupt. Many forces were terrified. While wondering how the Mu family had offended the Xu family, they also couldn't help but feel a sense of grief for the dead rabbit. The outside world was treacherous, but Xu Liang was not affected at all. In the afternoon, he came to the Magic City radio station. While sipping tea, he enjoyed the service of the most beautiful host. This was also one of his women, Lin Lane. When I met her, she was just a small intern reporter. At the beginning, she came to the Xu group and received an order to interview Xu Liang. With her, there were many other reporters in the same field. These people were very prestigious in the circle, and she thought that there was no hope for this interview, but she didn't expect a sudden turn of events. Xu Liang pointed his finger at her and clearly asked her to interview him. The acquaintance of the two began from then on. After the interview, she returned to the company and became a regular employee, and was grateful to Xu Liang. In an accidental situation, the two met again. When Xu Liang invited her to dinner, she did not refuse. In the following interactions, she was gradually attracted by Xu Liang's charm, and things gradually came to fruition. After learning that her dream was to be a host, Xu Liang directly arranged her to be the first supporter of the radio station. She was also very competitive, with a prominent figure, super high appearance, and most importantly, a pleasant voice, and soon secured the position of the first host. In this process, she gained a large number of fans and won the title of the most beautiful host, but they didn't know that the most beautiful goddess in their hearts was now flattering a man. Chapter 27. The protagonist who competes with the dog for food. The villain defeats justice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was almost dusk when Xu Liang came out of the Magic City radio station. He glanced at the message sent by his subordinates. Things between Baicaotang and Heping Hospital have made new developments. Heping Hospital sent the patient back to Baicaotang. Lu Neng, who had picked up the patient before, said in the interview, originally, they were able to cure the patient, but because they delayed the best time for treatment at Baicaotang, the condition worsened, and now they are unable to recover. It not only diverted attention, but also belittled Chinese medicine and Baicaotang again. What he said was reasonable. Baicaotang's treatment of patients did take a long time before, especially the one named Lin Hao, who used fancy acupuncture techniques, but it had no effect at all. As soon as this interview came out, Lin Hao was whipped to death again. In fact, there are many loopholes in Lu Neng's words. How arrogant he was when he picked up patients before. However, there are always a few sober people, driven by the trolls. Most people preferred the Peace Hospital. Is Baicaotang committing murder? Delaying the condition is tantamount to murder. Oh my God, it's so scary. I went to Baichao Hall to see a doctor before, and I shudder to think about it now. I don't believe in Chinese medicine anymore. That Lin Hao really deserves to die. He is indirectly killing someone. I suggest that he should be dragged out and shot for 5 minutes. Baicaotang, seeing Heping Hospital sending the patients back again, everyone was so angry that they gritted their teeth. How can people be so shameless? He couldn't cure it himself, but when he saw that the patient's condition was serious, he sent him back. Chen Jianjia felt heavy. The patient's condition is already serious. If no treatment can be found, I'm afraid he will die soon. Once she dies here, Baicaotang will be pushed to the forefront again. It will be over by then. Very few people know. Baicaotang attracted the attention of the whole country and even the world. The Mushy Group, with a market capitalization of tens of billions, has collapsed. What's strange is that Mu's group suddenly closed down in the past afternoon, but no news came out. It seemed like just a trivial thing happened. There were no news reports, no one was hyping it up, it was just calm. Yes, the news was suppressed by Xu Liang. No matter what he does, his gentle image must be maintained. Of course, he can't cover everything. There are still rumors circulating. Xu Liang did not stop this. Properly spreading some news can also enhance his deterrence. Mu family. The Mu family father and son were kicked out, and people from the bank just came to take away the house. Mujia has a market value of tens of billions, mostly based on industrial valuations. In fact, they borrow money from banks every year to develop new projects. Now that the Mu family is bankrupt, of course the bank can't sit still. In one afternoon, Mu Feng seemed to have aged dozens of years instantly, and he looked completely lost. It is unacceptable to anyone to be a billionaire at noon, but to be kicked out of the house at night, living on the streets, and reduced to a beggar. Mu Bai also had a numb expression. After some questioning, he also found out that it was the Xu family who did it. The Mu family had never provoked the Xu family before, so why did they suddenly attack them? The first attack was with thunderous means, leaving the Mu family with no chance to resist. Mu Feng couldn't figure this out, but Mu Bai knew that it was definitely because of him. Did I do anything to you? You also humiliated me, and now you are targeting my Mu family. You are too overbearing. Mu Bai was so angry that he gritted his teeth, and his hatred for Xu Liang deepened. Looking at his despairing father, his heart ached. Blood is thicker than water. Even if they haven't seen each other for 7 years, the love between father and son is still deep. He opened his mouth, ready to tell the reason, but after hesitating for a long time, he took it back. I was afraid that if I told my father that everything was because of him, a filial son, he would be pissed to death. As for asking him to apologize to Xu Liang and pray for him to let the Mu family go, it's impossible to kill him. In the final analysis, he has not yet reached a truly desperate situation. He still has a way to rise. That is the new energy battery technology he is about to complete. If the Mu family goes bankrupt, they will go bankrupt. Once the technology is completed, he will create a Mu family that can compete with the Xu family. It's not that bad. He has already arranged the equipment, and it will not take long for him to perfect the technology. Xu Liang, I have recorded this grudge, and I will pay it back thousands of times. After making a vow in his heart, he helped Mu Feng up. Dad, the current predicament is only temporary. Trust me, everything will be fine. Mu Feng was unmoved after hearing this. Get better. Easier said than done. It was the Xu family who targeted them. Without the Xu family taking action, others would suppress and exclude them. Want to go back to the past? It's simply impossible. Mu Bai didn't say anything more and decided to wait until the technology was developed before giving him a surprise. Night. Xu Liang came to Tang Xian's house. This violent policewoman would send him messages every day. Xu Liang thought she was Huan without radicals. If he didn't teach him a lesson, he would think he was going to heaven. A shocking battle started. Tang Xian was a decent person, representing justice, and wanted to defeat the villain Xu Liang. However, the strength gap was too great, and in front of the villain, the decent people could only be beaten. The decent people were defeated, but the villains were getting braver and braver. After a cry of surprise, Tang Xian had no strength to fight again and ended by begging for mercy. Ding. Mu Bai hates you to the bone. Villain value plus 987. The voice in his mind made him raise his eyebrows. TSK. It's not easy. It rarely exceeded 800 before, but now it can explode so much at once. He picked up his phone, which was a video about Mu Bai. Xu Liang always attaches great importance to the protagonist, not only Mu Bai, but also Lin Hao. He arranged people to monitor them. he doesn't allow any accidents to happen. The video records what happened after Mu Bai was kicked out of the Mu family. He was going to take Mu Feng to a rental house, but the landlord had already taken the house away and would not rent it to him. Mu Bai gritted his teeth. It was too much. He wanted to stay in a hotel, but he didn't have any money on him, and his card had been frozen and was useless. He wanted to stay at his best friend's house, but after thinking about it, he decided not to go, because it would bring him trouble. With no choice, he came to the park and planned to stay here for one night. His hatred for Xu Liang deepened, however. Not long after he lay down on the chair, a group of homeless people surrounded him again. I went out to beg for food, and my house was robbed. Beat me, that the father and son were beaten and kicked out of the park again. Interesting. Xu Liang couldn't help laughing and continued to watch. An hour later, Mu Bai and his friend finally found a dilapidated park without homeless people. Due to the successive blows, they haven't eaten yet, and their stomachs are growling with hunger. They had no money, so they went to a restaurant to order leftovers, but no one paid attention to them. When they passed by a trash can, there was an expired bread lying on the ground, and Mu Bai reached out to pick it up. At this time, a dog suddenly appeared and picked up the bread. After a meal of entanglement, he finally won and grabbed the bread. It was really a fight with a dog. Miserable. How can it be described with just one word? Talent. Xu Liang sighed. He was not talking about Mu Bai and his son, but was praising the people who monitored them. He just ordered not to let them live a good life, but he didn't expect to do this. He is a talent and worth cultivating. Putting down the phone, Xu Liang had no mercy in his heart. He must strike hard against these protagonists, otherwise, it is likely that he will end up like that. Thank you all for your rewards. I am very grateful, and I will kneel down and kowtow in a 360-degree spiral. Chapter 28. It's time to show off. The light in the heroine's eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Tang Xian, the captain of the criminal police team, asked for leave. A bunch of colleagues sent messages of concern, but they didn't know that the policewoman in their eyes was unable to get out of bed. Go to Baicaotang. Xu Liang got on his own car and said where he was going. Looking at the message on his phone, a faint smile appeared on his face. After doing so much, it was time for him to show up. Baicaotang. Chen Jianjia was taking the patient's pulse. There were only a few senior executives of Baicaotang in the ward. That is, a few old Chinese medicine practitioners, and Lin Hao. They watched silently, not daring to breathe, and the atmosphere was extremely depressing. After taking the pulse, Chen Jianjia pursed her lips and her face became a little paler. The patient's breath was getting weaker and weaker. Last night, the people in Baicaotang didn't sleep all night. Those who read classics, and those who checked information, just to find a way to treat the patient. Until now, nothing has been achieved. Chen Jianjia is really desperate. Is there really no hope for the revival of Chinese medicine? That she couldn't help but think desperately. Jianjia, you didn't tell me when you got into trouble. You don't treat me as a friend. At this moment, a gentle and easygoing voice sounded in her ears. Chen Jianjia was startled when she heard it, and looked back, and saw Xu Liang came here at some point. Mr. Xu. Her eyes lit up, and then dimmed again. A day passed, and the Heping Hospital was hyped up again. It can be said that their Baicaotang has become famous throughout the country and the world. Even if Xu Liang was asked for help, there was no way. The popularity was too high and it couldn't be suppressed at all. The only way now is to cure the patient and let all the rumors fall apart. Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Xu. Xu Liang is still willing to come to Baicaotang to find her, which shows his affection. Chen Jianjia expressed her gratitude. An idea suddenly emerged in her mind. It's good that Baicaotang is closed, and she doesn't have to fight for the revitalization of traditional Chinese medicine. Maybe she can find a love of her own. Thinking about it, she suddenly felt much better and secretly looked at Xu Liang. He has a handsome face, a perfect figure, and a noble temperament. He is simply the best candidate for a partner. Jianjia, do you believe me? Xu Liang smiled at her. Chen Jianjia was stunned, and was warmed by the smile. She nodded without hesitation. Well, I will help you cure the person. What? Chen Jianjia didn't react at all. The several old Chinese medicine practitioners next to her were also extremely shocked. Could it be that this famous young Master Xu actually knows medical skills? Lin Hao also heard Xu Liang's words and sneered, with a face full of disbelief, I can't do it myself, but Xu Liang can cure it. Moreover, Xu Liang is about the same age as him, and he has the strength of a master of Huajin. Could it be that his medical skills are also very powerful? Are you kidding? Lin Hao did not go up to stop him, just waiting to see the joke. Xu Liang came to the patient, picked up a set of silver needles, and pierced the patient. Is this Tai magic needle? Seeing the acupuncture method used by Xu Liang, Lin Hao's pupils shrank sharply, and his eyes were full of horror, but he still didn't believe that he could cure people, although he didn't know where Xu Liang learned Tai magic needle. He had tried it and it didn't work for this disease. As Xu Liang stretched out his hand and touched the silver needles, all the silver needles began to tremble, which was much simpler and easier than Lin Hao's one by one. Now several old Chinese medicine practitioners also saw that Xu Liang was performing Tai magic needle. However, because of Lin Hao's previous incident, they were very calm and didn't lose their composure like before. How excited they were at that time, how disappointed they were later. The most shocked was Chen Jianjia. She didn't expect that this elegant and rich young man actually knew medical skills, and his attainments were not low. Even Tai magic needle, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 4 minutes, 5 minutes passed, the silver needle stopped vibrating, and everyone was a little disappointed to see that the patient was still motionless. They thought it was useless again. Just after Xu Liang put the silver needle away, a miracle happened. The patient, who was originally like a vegetative person, moved his fingers slightly, then the patient's brows relaxed and slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, the whole audience was speechless. After a moment of silence, there was an uproar at the scene. It turned out, it was really cured. Several old Chinese medicine practitioners came forward to take the pulse and were surprised to find that the patient's symptoms disappeared and her exhausted body functions were getting better. My God, it's really cured, her body is recovering. That's the real Tai magic needle. Oh my God. What did I miss? After checking that the patient was fine, several old Chinese medicine practitioners were completely stunned. They beat their chests and stamped their feet, regretting that they didn't watch Xu Liang's acupuncture seriously just now. Thinking of this, they couldn't help but stare at Lin Hao viciously. It's all his fault. Previously, he had used a fake Tai divine needle to make them happy for nothing. Now he had caused them to miss out on the real Tai divine needle. Lin Hao's reaction was even stronger. He pushed away several old Chinese medicine doctors to diagnose the patient's pulse. The problem of blood boiling is gone and body functions are returning. This is exactly the effect of Tai divine needle. Why? His Tai divine needle works, your own has no effect at all. Could it be that the Tai divine acupuncture I learned is fake? Lin Hao himself couldn't help but start to doubt. Ding, Lin Hao doubts life. Villain value plus 999. Looking at the confused Lin Hao, Xu Liang found it interesting. Lin Hao's Tai magic needle is of course real. As for why his Tai divine needle worked, of course it was because he used the antidote. When he picked up the silver needle, he took out the antidote from his pocket and covered it on the silver needle. He has many powerful acupuncture techniques, but he still chooses Tai divine acupuncture. Just to see what Lin Hao looks like, he was not disappointed, and Lin Hao had begun to doubt the authenticity of his acupuncture technique. He came to Chen Jianjia. Playing with the protagonist can only be considered fun. His goal is the female protagonist. Don't tell me if you have trouble next time. The smile on Xu Liang's face was still as bright as spring breeze. Chen Jianjia's face was full of excitement. Unexpectedly, Xu Liang really saved the person. Doesn't that mean Baicaotang's trouble has been solved? Wiping her eyes, she was so excited that she cried. Only she knows how much pressure she has faced these 2 days. Seeing Xu Liang looking at her, she nodded shyly and responded in a low voice. Her body had been in a tense state before, but now that she was rescued, her whole body relaxed. The after-effects of a night's sleepless nights also appeared, and I felt my eyes go dark, and I was about to fall down when I stumbled. Suddenly, a warm embrace caught her. You're too tired, take a rest. An unparalleled sense of security came over her, and she just leaned into Xu Liang's arms without breaking away. Lin Hao came out of his daze and became furious when he saw this scene. Let go of senior sister. Chapter 29. Xu Liang, do you want to learn? I'll teach you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Let go of senior sister. Hearing the sound, Chen Jianjia woke up, feeling everyone's gaze. She blushed and quickly got out of Xu Liang's arms. Lin Hao was so angry that his teeth itched. Xu Liang was so unpredictable that he hugged the senior sister in his arms without even noticing. We must be more prepared in the future. Seeing the pleased looks from several elders, Chen Jianjia wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl into it. Just as he was about to divert his attention, he saw Lin Hao beside him. What are you yelling about? That it's all his fault, why tell me? Let yourself be so embarrassed. As for whether she misses Xu Liang's warm embrace, only she knows. Lin Hao. Blame me? If I didn't yell, you don't know how much more Xu Liang would take advantage of you. After scolding Lin Hao, Chen Jianjia felt better, and then looked at Xu Liang with burning eyes. Mr. Xu, did you just use the Tai Divine Needle? Xu Liang raised his eyebrows. Want to learn? I'll teach you. Chen Jianjia was startled. I recalled the Tai Divine Needle used by Xu Liang. It was slightly different from what she saw from her master, and the technique was simpler. If Xu Liang is willing to teach her, maybe she can really learn it. But that is the Tai Divine Needle, which can bring human flesh and bones to life. Thinking that Xu Liang was willing to teach her such an important acupuncture technique, warmth filled her heart. Several old Chinese medicine doctors on the side were filled with envy, and they all shouted in their hearts, I want to learn too, teach me. They all wished they could transform into beauties. At this moment, they were attracted by a sound of crying. It turned out to be Liao Ping, who had just been cured, and was breaking down and crying. Then, she came to Xu Liang and knelt down with a plop. Thanks to Xu Liang for saving his life. For more than a day, no one knew how much pain she suffered. The body felt like it was in a furnace, as if it would be burned alive in the next moment. Physical pain is secondary. The pain in her soul was what made her most desperate. Although she was unconscious, she could sense what was happening outside. Just like a vegetative state, when she fainted, the people from Baicaotang couldn't save her. She cursed 1,000 times in her heart. When people from Heping Hospital arrived, hope arose in her heart. After being picked up, she learned that they could not cure her, and she despaired. And when she heard that she had a new disease and that those people wanted to use her as a guinea pig for research, she was extremely angry. I'll do something for you and frame Baichao Hall. It's okay if you don't cure me, but you still treat me as a guinea pig. However, no matter how angry she was, there was nothing she could do. She couldn't move at all. It seemed that there was only one outcome waiting for her, that is death. This feeling of being unable to do anything but waiting to die is the most painful. Later, she heard that people from Heping Hospital sent her back to Baicaotang to make her death have the last value. She was even more furious. Gradually, she felt her consciousness sinking into darkness. Just when she thought she was going to die, she suddenly saw a light. She was rescued. She could not thank Xu Liang enough for his life-saving grace. Little did she know that all the pain she encountered was caused by the benefactor in front of her. What is your relationship with Heping Hospital? Xu Liang asked with a calm expression. Liao Ping reacted and quickly told everything like pouring beans into a bamboo tube without concealing anything. Heping Hospital treated her like this, wishing all those people would die. Several old Chinese medicine doctors were so angry that they blew their beards and stared. Although they had already guessed it, they still couldn't help but feel angry when they heard it with their own ears. Chen Jianjia bit her lips tightly. Her face turned livid. She was obviously very angry. Suddenly, someone held her hand. Looking sideways, she saw Xu Liang looking at her tenderly. Don't worry, leave it to me. Chen Jianjia's heart trembled, and she felt that the softness in her heart was touched. Lin Hao on the side was also gnashing his teeth, blaming the Peace Hospital. If they hadn't arranged for someone to cause trouble, how could he have made a fool of himself in front of senior sister? It has become a joke on the internet. He vowed to make Peace Hospital look good. As soon as he sentenced the Peace Hospital to death, he suddenly discovered a blind spot. Xu Liang was seen holding one of Chen Jianjia's hands, and the two looked at each other lovingly. Lin Hao's face became increasingly gloomy, his fists were clenched, and veins popped out on his arms. At this time, others in Baicaotang who were guarding outside heard the movement inside and wanted to come in and take a look. They were shocked to find that the patient who had been lying on the hospital bed and had been sentenced to death stood up. Shopkeeper, they really succeeded in curing the person. Soon, the ward was filled with people. Someone couldn't help but ask, Shopkeeper, what's going on? Is the patient rescued? Chen Jianjia was about to explain, but Xu Liang spoke first. To be precise, it was shopkeeper Chen who cured the person. Swish, 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 all eyes turned to him, including Chen Jianjia, all looked stunned. Xu Liang smiled slightly and continued. In fact, these days, shopkeeper Chen has been blaming himself for not curing the patient and has been studying the condition. Wow! As soon as the voice fell, the whole audience was in an uproar. What? The shopkeeper didn't sleep for several days and nights to study the condition. As expected of the shopkeeper, this spirit of not giving up on every patient is admirable. From now on, I will live and die with Baicaotang. Damn it, Heping Hospital is really damnable, I can't live with them. Everyone was moved by Chen Jianjia, and their eyes were full of admiration when they looked at her. This wave can be said to have won the hearts of Chen Jianjia. In the future, they will work harder for Baicaotang. Chen Jianjia. Who am I? Where am I? What should I do? She was confused. Just as she was about to speak, Xu Liang winked at her and shut her mouth again. Several old Chinese medicine practitioners were also at a loss. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes just now, they would have really believed what Xu Liang said. They looked back and forth between Xu Liang and Chen Jianjia, as if thinking about something. Xu Liang was going to give the opportunity to become famous to Chen Jianjia. It's true that heroes are reluctant to be seduced by beautiful women, and Lin Hao was already shaking with anger at this time. What a good Xu Liang, he was really calculating. Give the opportunity to become famous to the senior sister, and let her be the miracle doctor who cured the patient. In this way, she is the shopkeeper of Baicaotang, and Baicaotang will not only not be suppressed, but will also be reborn from the ashes. The senior sister's lifelong wish is to revive Chinese medicine, and Xu Liang did it in a few words. Wouldn't she be moved to death? Ding, Lin Hao is angry with you, villain value plus 999. Xu Liang's face was very calm. Being famous is too easy for him, he has no interest in it. Being famous will only disturb his life, it is totally thankless. Pushing Chen Jianjia out is also part of his strategy. It is indeed very effective, you can see it from Chen Jianjia's eyes at this time. The deep affection is about to melt. Chapter 30. Be aware of being a chess piece. The heroine's thanks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next, Xu Liang continued to proceed according to the plan. He let Liao Ping go out first, and the media reporters who were waiting outside surrounded her. Baicaotang has been closed for a long time. Now someone finally came out. How could they let him go? When he got closer, the reporter was stunned and felt a little familiar. Why does it look like that patient? The incident between Chinese medicine and Western medicine has caused such a big fuss, just because of a patient. In the past 2 days, someone has already found out all the information of the patient. I am Liao Ping. When she said her name, there was a commotion at the scene. They finally confirmed that this was really the patient. Strange, didn't they say she was going to die? How could she suddenly be alive and kicking? Then, Liao Ping explained the whole story to the camera. Starting from her going to Heping Hospital for a checkup, she was asked to frame Baicaotang on the condition of curing her. She also took out the evidence of the checkup at Baicaotang. Then she talked about what happened during her coma. In fact, she was still conscious after she fell into a coma. Seeing that they couldn't cure her, Heping Hospital decided to use her as a guinea pig. At this point, her tone was full of hatred for Heping Hospital. A group of reporters hurriedly took notes. Their keen sense of smell had already sensed that this was definitely big news. Shocking reversal, Heping Hospital framed Baicaotang. Baicaotang couldn't cure her, so Heping Hospital took her away. In the end, they couldn't cure her either, so they sent her back. In the end, the person from Baicaotang was cured. Excuse me, who cured you? Someone asked excitedly. Baicaotang cured her, which means that Chinese medicine won in this invisible confrontation. Facts speak louder than words. Lu Ning's previous disparagement of Heping Hospital seemed so ridiculous. It was Chen, the shopkeeper of Baicaotang. Liao Ping replied. Everyone was shocked. They were all familiar with the beautiful doctor. Unexpectedly, it was she who cured her, but it was strange. They had seen the video before, and Chen, the shopkeeper, seemed to have never taken action. At this time, Liao Ping continued. In order to cure me, shopkeeper Chen studied the condition for 3 days and 3 nights. According to Xu Liang's request, she pushed all the credit to Chen Jianjia and even wrote a script. Wow. A stone stirs up 1,000 waves. A group of people asked for details like crazy and quickly sent notes to the company editor, hoping to release the news before other companies. Not long after, the relevant news spread on the internet. A shocking reversal. Baicaotang cured the patient. In this duel between Chinese and Western medicine, Chinese medicine won. The inside story of the Baicaotang incident: everything was done by Heping Hospital. Shocked, Heping Hospital went back on its word and actually treated the patients as guinea pigs. Shopkeeper Chen did not give up on any patient and studied the condition for 3 days and 3 nights. She is a contemporary female doctor with both medical skills and beauty. The turmoil in Baicaotang was very fierce, and many people were paying attention to this matter. Therefore, when the news came out, it soon became a hot search. Fuck. I thought Baicaotang was doomed, but I didn't expect there would be such a reversal. It's simply against the will of heaven. Heping Hospital is so shameless, sending people to frame, no martial ethics at all. Ha ha ha. It's so satisfying. They wanted to bring down Baicaotang, but ended up losing more than they gained. Manager Chen is so yyds, he studied the condition for 3 days and 3 nights. It moved my brothers and sisters. Heping Hospital sent the person back, which shows that the person is already beyond help, but Manager Chen still cured the person. The female doctor is worthy of the name. After learning the truth, the internet exploded immediately. Heping Hospital. Dr. Lu, something bad has happened. A panicked voice came over. Lu Ning had just finished receiving instruction from a foreign medical professor and came out of the office. Hearing the voice, he couldn't help but frown and scolded. Why are you yelling? The man came up to him and handed him his phone. What? After reading the news, Lu Ning's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. Did Baicaotang really cure that patient? How is that possible? They had tried many treatments but none of them worked, and concluded that she would die. Now she was cured. It was such a slap in the face. Seeing what Liao Ping said, pointing out that it was arranged by their hospital, his face turned ashen. Now the online public opinion was overwhelming their Heping Hospital, and he couldn't sit still. At this time, he had to stand up and clear his relationship. Otherwise Heping Hospital would be finished. Soon he asked the news media for an interview. During the interview, he said that what Liao Ping said was all slander, and decisively denied the practice of framing Baicaotang. He also said that their hospital had a great contribution to the patient's recovery. Seeing his far-fetched explanation, many people didn't buy it, but they couldn't do anything about it. At this time, some dark secrets about Heping Hospital were exposed and circulated on the internet. Halfway through the operation, the patient is asked to increase the medical expenses, and fake medicine is given to the patient. If the slightest problem is cancer, the operation is necessary. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. This is simply a black-hearted hospital. For a time, Heping Hospital was denounced by the entire internet. Not long after, relevant departments came to the door. After investigation, it was confirmed that the incident was true. Many doctors were imprisoned. Baicaotang, seeing the ending of Heping Hospital, Chen Jianjia let out a long breath. Thank you. She looked at Xu Liang, her eyes full of gratitude. He was the one who just issued the order to investigate Heping Hospital, expose the shady story, and let them be punished. What Chen Jianjia will never know is, Xu Liang arranged it from beginning to end, and Heping Hospital was just a pawn in his hands. Thank me, it's not just words. Xu Liang raised his eyebrows at her. Chen Jianjia was stunned. Just when she was confused and about to ask, Xu Liang pointed to her cheek. The meaning is self-evident. Chen Jianjia's face turned red immediately. She still didn't understand that she was letting herself kiss him. Logically speaking, they had kissed each other before, just a kiss, but that was all Xu Liang's initiative. It's really embarrassing for her to take the initiative now. Her heartbeat was racing and her palms were sweating from nervousness. I looked around and saw no one, but I still didn't dare. Finally, she summoned up the courage to stand on her tiptoes, ready for a quick kiss. Just as she was approaching, Xu Liang turned his head slightly. Well. Chen Jinjia's eyes widened, only then did she realize that she had been tricked, but she was already addicted to it and had no time to think about it. When Lin Hao came to find Chen Jinjia, he saw such a scene, on-site mass wall separation, ding. Lin Hao's mentality exploded, villain value plus 1000.